Welcome back to DVC Weekly. This is episode 39. My name is Jason Erpelding. I'm the broker of Buy and Sell DVC. This is Scott Ferrioli.
I'm the owner of DVC-Rental.com and BuyandSellDVC.com.
Today is November 3rd, 2021. 11-month window is going to be October 3rd, 2022. 7-month window is going to be June 3rd, 2022. And just to touch on that, again, if you're a DVC member, you can book up to 11 months in advance at your home resort. That's whether you're an owner or if you're renting from DVC-Rental. That's the furthest out they can make a DVC reservation for you is 11 months. Under 7 months, as a DVC owner, you can make a reservation anywhere. As always, of course, reservations are based on availability. We're going to let Scott start off. He's going to start out with the rental side. And
I'm going to build off of that,
okay.
So that's fine. I don't have too much to go over, but I just want to specify that right now, March and into April is already pretty much being sold out. I know May, there's not a ton of availability left. Jason just mentioned that 7-month window is June. So if you're thinking a June or later trip, now is the time to start planning this because everything is starting to sell out as normal. Previously with COVID, it kind of threw everything kind of like in a loop. Nobody was sure. Sometimes availability has been all over the place. We're now starting to get back into the regular system where at 7 months in advance, a lot of options are selling out. So if you really want to try to be able to plan, the 10 to 11 month window would be best to have the most options left, but at least 7 months in advance so we could try to hit that 7-month window for you because anything that's under 7 months, which again is your March, April, May, is really selling out and there's not a lot of stuff left. So definitely try to stick to the 10 to 11 months. I also want to mention that our deals page is that, if you go DVC-Rental.com/deals or just go to the main website, we got deals buttons all over the place. The deals are where we have discounted reservations and our confirmed reservations. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit cheaper or possibly you're looking at time that's completely sold out, we may have it on the deals page for you because, again, these are confirmed reservations that DVC member can no longer book or possibly they're from a renters of ours who has to
no
cancel.
longer use.
No longer used, not booked. They're no longer able to go. DVC member booked the room 10 months ago. They can't go anymore. So we help rent them out for them. Or there are some people with our travel insurance, if people are not able to go, we are then trying to get out of those points. So a lot of times we have stuff that's completely availability when it's completely sold out, or if you're only 3 months out and all that's left is Saratoga and you really don't want to stay at Saratoga, check out our deals page because we could have a beach club or a boardwalk on there, or definitely check on there because again, anything that's within the next couple months sometimes also gets discounted as well. Again, normally we're $22 a point. It includes our no questions asked travel insurance. But again, on our deals page, especially with stuff that's upcoming, sometimes it'll drop down. Sometimes, it's not going to be as low probably as it was earlier with COVID, where sometimes we're at $9 a point, but we're still seeing stuff sometimes $14, $16 in that range, which is a fantastic deal. And again, that comes with our travel insurance built in there already. So start booking now if you're looking for next June, July, all of next summer. If you're wanting to come earlier than that, get on that immediately because there's not a lot left. And if you're not seeing anything that's left, check out the deals page because, again, that's where stuff will periodically be popping up that could work for you and your family.
Yeah, because remember, that's the confirmed reservation. So even if you say, hey, I want to check this, you check a few things and it's not available, go to the deals page. It's called deals page, but that's confirmed reservations. That's stuff that's already booked, already have that reservation. So you can, let's say there's 3 different options. You could pick one of those and book it. You don't have to worry about, because it's already booked.
Yeah, on the top of the deals page, there's also a little link where you can sign up to be notified for any brand new deals. Every Wednesday, we send out brand new listings. There's several thousand people who get these emails every single Wednesday. Actually, Wednesday or Thursday, they go out on Thursdays. Sorry, I think they go on Thursdays. Every Thursday, I'm trying to think now. I'm going, oh gosh, Wednesdays and Thursdays.
I believe they go out Thursday.
I think they go on Thursdays as well. They are Thursdays. We have to get everything prepared by Wednesday to go out on Thursday morning. So every single Thursday, we send out all the brand new reservations, or if any of them have gotten discounted since the last time you looked at them, they'll show up on the brand new listings as well. So essentially, if you're planning on something, the rooms are not available, check out our deals page. If you don't see anything there, sign up for the email. We don't blast out emails. Again, it comes out once a week. We don't sign you up for anything. But that way, at least you'll be one of the first ones to be notified if something does pop up on there that meets what you and your family need.
Fantastic. And I think we're going to go into your food review.
Oh, there's the food's already.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you! Get in my belly!
Hopefully we have good news this week.
Define good.
I love how he covers it up. Like you can see what he's going to
You don't want to see this.
tell you about.
All right, this week we are going back to Chef Art Smith's homecoming at Disney Springs. Last time, again, we did the thigh-high biscuits that were absolutely delicious, and I would recommend. Again, what happens? My wife and I went there for lunch. We got one of the thigh-high biscuits, and then we got one meal to split. So we split the biscuits, and we split the meal. For the meal, we went off of the waiter's recommendation. And again, waiter was really, really great. We got the braised, we told him we were getting the chicken. He's like, listen, I know you were thinking of getting the chicken and donuts. That's just too much chicken. You know, you're going to have a lot of chicken with these thigh highs. Go with something different. Try the braised short ribs. So we tried the braised short ribs. They're $32. So it says this fancy pot roast is made by slow cooking boneless short ribs until they are fork tender, served over creamy mashed potatoes with a demi-glaze sauce and French green beans. This also comes with the cheddar biscuit, which is really nice because those cheddar biscuits they're heavy, they're solid. I mean, the cheddar biscuits were fantastic. What's also really nice is that I've heard really interesting things, we'll say, about the macaroni and cheese. And they allow you to substitute the green beans for anything you want. So we got the Mama's mac and cheese as well. I wrote down, that's normally $8 to get the mac and cheese. And I'll go with the mac and cheese. Normally, I'd heard that, and people complain that there's just too much cheese on it. There's too much cheese on top, and I'm like, how can you have too much cheese? I love cheese. But the top layer has like almost an inch thick of like melted, and by the time you get into it, it's not even melted as much. It's a little hard. It's like cheddar cheese on there. That was really, really good. But the macaroni itself, there wasn't enough cheese. Like, you know, macaroni and cheese, there's no like cheese throughout it. I felt like all the cheese just sat on top. And when you went underneath it, there just wasn't much cheese in there. So I was a little disappointed by that. It was still quite good. And if I went back to Chef, Art Smith's and I had a side, I'm giving this a 6.3. I'd still probably get it again though. It's one of those things that it doesn't blow me away, but it was tasty. I like cheese. I'll get that again. So that was pretty tasty. As for the pot roast, I should say it's braised short ribs. Now, pot roast is typically a less expensive cut than braised short ribs. Short ribs are a little bit, it's different. And it's more expensive, exotic meat. And it tasted, they called it pot roast, and it tasted just like pot roast. So it was just like you were having regular pot roast, which, I mean, that's what it says on the menu. But I was kind of hoping it was going to be a little bit different. And what's also really nice is that the waiter knew I guess, that we were splitting this stuff. So we didn't even say anything. But he brought my wife and I each our own little bowl with the braised short rib in it, and its own little side of mashed potatoes and everything. So it's like it was presented very nicely. It was good. They split it up for us, which was cool. It was good. It wasn't like great or memorable. I give it a 5.7. I mean, it was still good. I wouldn't order it again when I went back there, but you're not going to hate it. And it was pretty decent. But again, the real star of homecoming so far has been those thigh-high chicken biscuits. They were absolutely fantastic. And again, this came with the biscuit as well, which made it very nice. And just for $32, I go, eh. But for $16, those thigh-high chicken biscuits, those are, I don't want to say a steal, but those are a good deal, and they're filling. And again, this isn't bad. If Jason was ordering this and he goes, hey, Scott, you want half of this? I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll eat that. Because that's how I am. I'm a giver. I'm a good guy like that. But personally, I don't think I'd order it again, but it was definitely good. You try it out on your own. I wish it was more like a regular short rib instead of the pot roast. But I mean, on the menu, it says, they're fancy pot roast. So they're kind of giving you a warning. It's going to be like a pot roast, and it was. But it was pretty good. I enjoyed it, but it didn't blow me away.
All right, now we're going to go into the resale side. Question of the week is, what does a buyer need to know about purchasing from an international seller? So I see
that a lot. I see that question a lot. That's a good one.
So it is a little bit different than buying. Let's say you live in Illinois and the seller lives in Arkansas. It's a little different. And so if you're a buyer, If you're a foreign seller, a foreign seller has to pay what's called a FIRPTA tax. And now keep in mind, I can only speak for our company and the transactions that I've been a part of since 2004. The title company is going to take out the FIRPTA money at the time of closing, because the title companies, they send the brokers documents to review. So I look at the sales price, and then it'll have on there the seller's paying the FIRPTA tax. So the money is withheld from the seller at the time of closing. Now, the seller, they go through their own process to get that money back. It take anywhere from 3 to 6 months for them to get that money back. But on the end of the buyer, so a couple things. Number one is, if you're buying from someone that lives in Illinois, they can probably get their documents signed and notarized probably within 24 hours. Now, if you're buying from someone that lives in Canada or lives in the UK, now this, I've been doing this since 2004, so this doesn't even have to do with COVID and everything. I mean, they don't have, not everybody has, notary, like Scott may know a notary that's 4 houses away, I don't know. They don't have access to the notaries like we have access to. So it may take them, a couple of days extra, but be advised, majority of the time, there is never an issue with the foreign sellers. I've had many transactions where foreign sellers are quicker on returning final documents than domestic sellers. But there is going to be a FIRPTA tax that's withheld from the seller. Sometimes you'll get a letter, and it may scare you. It says something about the IRS. You just send it. You can send it to me, or you can send it to the title company, and they'll take care of it. I personally have bought from a Canadian seller. I bought from a UK seller. Actually, our home that my wife and I live in, it was a foreign seller. So, there's no issue in it. But there's going to be a FIRPTA tax. And another thing is you can say, hey, I want to confirm that the FIRPTA tax has been withheld from the seller. Well, the closing company can send you a screenshot showing you on the seller's closing statement where the money was withheld. I can send you the screenshot, because again, everyone that I've dealt with, it's all on the up and up. It's a process. You go through it. If you get this letter from the IRS, like I say, I think I bought from a Canadian, when I bought from the Canadian seller, for some reason, I got this letter from the IRS. It's no big deal. I sent it to the closing company, and I forget exactly what happened. That's how easy it was, because you don't remember it, and they took care of it.
Yeah, they just have to show that the tax was paid, essentially, right? Yeah, it's nothing you have to even really worry about. Just if you get it, send it to us or the closing company, they'll take care of it for you.
So now to me, if you're a domestic buyer buying from a foreign seller, to me, there's nothing to worry about. Now, if you're a foreign buyer buying from a foreign seller, that becomes its own unique situation. Because if you're a foreign buyer buying from a foreign seller, and let's say there's 2 buyers, so now you have to get an ITIN number. You as the buyer have to get that number because you're buying from a foreign seller. So that will raise your closing costs by $50 per person. So if you're only one name on the deed, it costs an additional $50. And then you can get the ITIN number right there. You don't have to worry about getting it in the future if you ever go to sell. If there's 2 buyers.
Well, some people have an ITIN number already if they're international. So there's
rarely.
Okay, I know on our side we have to deal with that as well, and sometimes they do. But it's just if they get an ITIN number.
Right.
See, I didn't even really know that, so that's good to know.
So yeah, it costs $50 per person. It costs $100 extra. 9 times out of 10, when I explain that to the buyer, they have no issue. They move forward with presenting the offer or whatever the case may be. But, 1 out of 10, they say, okay, I'm just going to buy from a domestic seller then, because I don't want to have to get the ITIN. But again, to me, it's no big deal as well. But it does cost you an extra $50 per person on the deed to get the ITIN number. And the good thing is you already have it. I mean, again, yeah, you may keep your DVC until it runs out, but if you ever want to sell it now, you already have the ITIN number. So, you'll see a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, I don't want to throw out that word, but you'll see people say, expect, the biggest issue I see on the internet is the issue with time. They're going to tell you it's going to take longer to close. But I will tell you that, I've had people that live domestically that for some reason can't find a notary, and it takes them. I mean, I don't have a breakdown of the percentages, but to me, it's not extra time when you buy from a foreign seller. It's the extra time is really the motivation of the seller. Some people have a huge sense of urgency throughout the entire transaction. They get everything done right away, and some people, they just, I know everybody has 1,000 things going on. And so, some people, they push it off and they say, I'll get it done next week, I'll get it done. And then they take forever, whether that's a domestic seller, an international seller, or it's, somebody that lives, a mile from the closing company. So, but really you don't have any issues buying from a foreign seller. It's the closing company. You can always ask whoever you're purchasing from, hopefully it's from buy and sell. But if you can always ask them, the FERPTA is going to be taken out of the proceeds from the seller. Can you send me proof of that? You can even ask the question, can you reach out to the seller and see what area they live in? Are they going to have any issue, getting their documents notarized? I better know that now before I enter the transaction. But otherwise, you're going to have a smooth transaction. And we sponsor the DIB, which of course is international discussion board for Disney. And they're great people. Hopefully you're watching this. They're great. They're wonderful. They're members that are looking to sell, buy, and there's just no issue. So
for our foreign sellers, how much is FERPTA tax again?
15% FERPTA.
Because I know you mentioned it a bunch. I just figured I'd let the case of somebody on the sell side sitting there going, he keeps mentioning the FERPTA tax, but how much is it?
So as of right now, it is 15% FERPTA tax because if I remember correctly, it was 15% for the longest time. Then it went to 10%, but now it's back to 15%. So I don't, and to me, it was all set up originally just because it was for homes, but this is deeded, so it's tied to this as well. So that's why it's involved with the selling of the Disney Vacation Club as well.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Hopefully you learned, and for FERPTA. Because I always say FERPTA, let's see here. Foreign and real estate. Now I can't even think of what. Foreign investment real property tax? FERPTA, Foreign Investor Real Property Tax Act, I think. Foreign Investor Real Property Tax Act. Sorry, I've been saying FERPTA way too long. So hopefully I got that correct. But it's, hopefully that answers your questions on that. There's nothing to be scared of. And in my opinion now, the sellers are going to be super quick getting the documents back. So, if you look at timeline, if somebody out there has a spreadsheet on timelines, I think the foreign sellers are right up there with any other seller.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was sitting here going, I bought a bunch of contracts over the years. I'm going, I know I've dealt with international sellers before, but I can't think of anything specific, which is a good thing.
Exactly.
I don't sit there, there's nothing in my mind where I'm going, I remember that one, it took 3 extra weeks to close. It's like, no, I know we definitely bought some from international sellers, but there was nothing different. Maybe it was an extra day or two or a week, or it was something that, it was not a big deal, or maybe they were right on time. It was nothing that stood out. So that's always a good thing.
Absolutely.
It really just depends, how good the seller is and how quickly they want to get done, whether they're living in Wyoming or they're living in the UK. If they're able to get it quickly, it doesn't really matter.
That is correct. Hopefully you got some good information today. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Be sure to come back next week and see us again.
Again, we appreciate it. We love you all. Thank you very much.